Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. You're watching this on the Luca Nation Network. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon for notifications. As always, it's a Tuesday. We're filming this on Monday, Halloween. We're both dressed up as middle-aged white dudes for Halloween like we do every day of our lives. But this is going to be seen by you guys on Tuesday, November 1st. So happy November. Jonathan, welcome to the show. This one is a doozy.
It is. And I would like to say that I am dressed up as a dude with sneaky former hops. Way former. Yeah.
Way back when. Right. Yeah. Right. When 28 inches was like a good vertical leap back in the day when it mattered, when 30 inches was really something, right?
Really was. I know. It's crazy. This was really difficult to narrow down.
Yeah. Let's spill the beans. We're doing the top 10 poster dunks, individual single in-game dunks of all time.
Yep.
And this was miserable to pare down to 10. It was miserable. It was so difficult. You guys know how I am with my honorable mentions. I've got 16 honorable mention and I've got 16 high honorable mention. So I've got 32, but we're not looking at videos of all those because we don't have that much time. But we were laughing before we hit the record button because we don't want to share any of our lists with each other. As always, I don't know what your list is, and you don't know what mine is. I think this time I can conclusively say we'll have a little bit of overlap, but there's going to be a lot of dunks where we're going to be like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah. And I'm not even going to have it in my 42 dunks, including my top 10 that I've got listed over here. So this should be real interesting. But this definitely evokes some memories of watching some of this stuff happen live. You know, we might have been sitting in the same room together watching some of these games live when we were in high school and college.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I think the viewers need to take into account is kind of what we based it on, which I know best in-game poster dunks, but like I personally I did take into account, and I know you did as well, the dunker, the victim, we'll call them, the amount of violence involved, the embarrassment involved, and for me, I think you said it as well earlier today when we were talking, that the defender had to jump.
Yeah. Let me do this. I've got these are the prerequisites. These have to occur for a dunk to even be considered. Number one, it has to happen in an NBA game.
Right.
Okay, we're on the same page there. Number two, the defender absolutely must jump, even if only a little bit. Some of these defenders can't jump very well to begin with, but you have to try to contest the dunk.
Yeah.
So just so the viewers understand, that literally eliminates like 90% of LeBron's dunks. Really because so many times when people see LeBron or Vince Carter coming, and Kobe even a little bit for that matter, they try to take charges or they just get the hell out the way. Yep. So we're not talking about fast break dunks. We're not talking about getting loose. That's a big part of the criteria. The defender's got to jump. I've got in here contact absolutely must be made.
Yes.
Okay. Contact has to be made. It's not just jump and waving at it or jumping, and it's an impressive dunk where somebody tries to swipe it and misses or anything like that. And it's not, Giannis jumping over Tim Hardaway Jr. is not going to count because he didn't jump and he didn't even touch him.
And I think also, like I almost counted where you had to be fouled, but there's some of mine that there was definitely a foul, but they didn't call it.
The ref was so shocked that they were like, holy shit, what did I just see? I forgot to blow the whistle. Right. And then the last criteria is the basket has to be made, right? Yes. It has to be a made dunk, obviously. So those are the four prerequisites. Now we have our factors to consider. I put together a list, and I'm sure you took this into account, maybe some of it subconsciously, but I actually put this pen to paper, and I did take some time to get ready for this one. So I've got some thoughts on all of our dunks, even the honorable mention, but factors to consider: the size of the dunker, advantage for smaller people. Does that mean that there's no big people on my list? Of course not, but that is a factor to consider, the size of the dunker. Number two, the size of the victim. That is important. When I say the victim, I mean the defender who attempts to contest the dunk that gets put on the poster. The importance of the game, I took into account a little bit lower. I did a little bit lower. The importance of the victim. In other words, is he a big name? Is he a big-time shot blocker? Yeah. Is he a Hall of Famer? Is he, is he somebody that we both love to hate? Yeah. Which is a little spoiler alert. I'm sure our guy's going to be on your list. Is it a rivalry game? Is it a nasty? Is there some contentious nature between these two particular ball clubs or these two particular players. I took that into account, and that differentiated my list. That really affected the order of my list, to be quite honest with you. Is it one hand or two hand? Not so much, because you can get dirty with both. Two hand, a little bit tougher to get contact, collide with the defender, and dunk with two hands. Don't you agree? It's much more difficult, much more rare.
Sure. I also so I like your criteria, and I think that those obviously need to be taken into account. Way higher on my list was violence and embarrassment.
We're getting there. We got it. I know, shock and awe. I got it. I got it. It's coming. Pre-dunk buildup. The lead up to the dunk. In other words, skill moves that led to the situation. That's important, especially when you get near the top 10 and trying to distinguish between some of this crap. Yeah. Post-dunk reaction by the dunker.
Yes.
Post-dunk reaction by the victim.
Everyone.
Post-dunk reaction by teammates and opponents.
Yes.
Okay, not even part of the crime, right? That's important. It just is. There's just no way around it. Playoff game versus regular season game, a little bit, but some of these just happen to be in playoff games. They just did. And then this is the last one, and this is kind of a little subtle thing, but did the victim have his steps? Like, was the guy who was trying to contest – literally, was he getting his steps ready to go up and pack it, and then the worst of all things could possibly happen to him? That's a little bit different than sort of catching somebody unaware and then they jump at the last second, right? So those are just factors to consider. No one factor overrides any others. Some of them, take more priority than others, but those are the factors to consider. Is there anything I left out? Is there anything you want to talk about regarding the list itself or the criteria before we get to to this monstrous honorable mention that we're going to blitz through?
Yeah, we got to blitz through it. No,
you have my word. I'm going to blitz through it. You ready? I'm just going to start saying who did it and who did it to who. All right. LeBron on Nurkic. I've got 2 honorable mentions. I've got 16 honorable mention, and then I've got 16 high honorable mention. LeBron on Nurkic didn't make my high honorable mention. It was just honorable mention, and I know that's crazy. Jordan on Kelly Tripucka.
Yep.
Jordan on Barkley. I did not even see this one until recently. It was a No. There was a one where Jordan caught it and went one step, they collided.
I remember that. You're right. And knocked him down.
He knocked him down, yes. And I had never seen that. It wasn't the most violent dunk, but Jordan literally, I don't think he dribbled the ball. I think it was just catch one step and then yammed on him, and they collided, and Barkley fell.
Forgot about that.
And that just because of the names involved. I mean, Jordan and Barkley, good Lord. Jordan did get Lambeer, so that's on my honorable mention. Giannis on Ibaka, where he Euro stepped and then just smashed on him. Zach LaVine on Alex Lynn. That was that was the best dunk of Zach LaVine's in-game career.
Yeah, a lot of anger involved.
Okay. Too. Blake Griffin's going to rear his ugly head a lot here. Blake Griffin on Gasol, not the putback dunk, the other dunk in that same game. That's in my honorable mention. Blake Griffin put back on Gasol from the same game.
Yeah.
Durant on Brendan Haywood.
Forgot about that one. That's a
big one.
Yeah.
One of Durant's best. Vince on Mutombo.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Where he just kept going up and up, and Mutombo tried to catch him. Again, big names factor in here. Larry Nance on Brook Lopez.
Yeah,
so not big names, but that was underrated. Kevin Durant on Roy Hibbert. Kevin Durant got Roy Hibbert as well. Kobe on Yao Ming. Yao sort of jumped and was very late. Kobe really sort of beat him there, but it was like a baptism of Yao. Welcome to the NBA. Yeah, 2 huge names, and everybody wanted to get Yao. I mean, Yao, Mutombo, guys like that, the Georgetown centers, everybody, Sean Bradley, go figure. All those guys were immediate targets. Giannis on Aaron Baines.
Yeah, that was violent, and that was on my honorable mention too. I contemplated putting that on the list, but Baines isn't a big enough name as a shot blocker.
It's not. Yeah. Yep. And then Russell Westbrook on Thon Maker. Do you remember when Russell Westbrook got Thon Maker? He had 2 very similar dunks.
Yeah.
One was just a little bit more violent. The Russ on Thon Maker made it my honorable mention, but we're about to go into my high honorable mentions.
So we'll go ahead and go through because I didn't split it up. I just far. Let's see what you have left, and then I'll fill in with what.
Before we go any further, have you ever met someone who's put together an honorable mention list with 32 things on it?
No. No, other than the Louisiana High School Athletic Association's all-state basketball.
District. Right. All district, where every kid makes all district.
Right. Anyhow.
Okay, a high honorable mention. Kevin Johnson on Olajuwon.
Yeah.
Huge one, little tiny guy, one of the greatest shot blockers of all time.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if we took – I don't know if you mentioned this or not, because this is the reason why he didn't make my 10.
Okay.
Like the cleanliness of the dunk, right? Like he dunked it clean, but it wasn't like this hammer.
It wasn't a hammer. Right.
Right.
The forcefulness of the dunk, the downward velocity of the dunk. Honestly, sometimes, Jonathan, what does the ball do after it goes through the hoop? Does it go off the guy's face? Does it go off your own chest? Does it go straight to the floor? Right. Those are important factors in just like the violence and the shock and awe factor that we like to talk about. It's hard to quantify that and put that into words, but I guess if anybody out there used to dunk the basketball, you know what we're talking about. Sure. And Kevin Johnson's, you're right. It was kind of a rim grazer, but it was just like the shock and awe was that this little guy just went up and just attacked Olajuwon in a playoff game. Is really what was impressive about that. And along the same lines, Baron Davis versus Karolinko.
Yep, same
the We Believe Warriors dunk. That one was clean. That was a big-time dunk, too. LeBron on Jason Terry. Didn't make my top 10 just because Terry's a little guy and just because he changes his mind midway. Yeah.
I'll have to disagree with that, but moving on. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Look, I'm not going to argue with you. Like I said, this is absurdly impossible. Yeah. And everybody's going to, chime in the comments. What about this? What about this? And, that's why my honorable mention's like as big as an ocean so I can cover my ass. James Harden on Draymond Green, where he literally hugged him in the middle of the air after he facialed him and then brought him down with him. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
No,
good luck. Amari Stoudemire on Dampier.
Yeah.
It
wasn't in my 10, but it was so violent, though.
Yeah.
So violent. And
there's a lot of these. What were you?
Great post-dunk reaction too.
Right. There's a lot of these what were you thinking type questions that need to be asked. Dampier, not the most elite athlete. Derrick Rose on Dragic. What were you thinking, Dragic? By the way, I sent you a link the other day of a great interview that they did with Dragic recently. They're like, people still bring this up like 15 years later. What do you think about this? He's like, oh, yeah, that was a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Shaq on David Robinson in the All-Star game did not make my top 10.
Ooh, that's tough, man.
I know.
I get it, though. I get it.
You got to pick and choose, right? DeRozan, I was shocked at how many DeRozan dunks that I literally – spoiler alert, he made one of my top 10.
Ooh, he did.
Yeah.
I know which one it is, though. I know.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to like it. But this one, I don't know if you remember this. The dunk itself wasn't otherworldly, but it was basically a buzzer beater – coast to coast, full court dunk with two hands on two people to beat the Pistons.
Detroit, that's what I was.
And a foul.
Yeah, right. I remember
Dominique on Moses Malone didn't make it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. Moses couldn't jump high enough. Yeah.
Dominique on Bird, not the one where there's another one on Bird. I know the one you're thinking, the real violent one. I'm not talking about that. I want to. We'll talk about it after, and we'll pull it up and we'll look at it. There's another Dominique on Bird dunk. Not the one that we see all the time that we talk about the most.
After the violent one, what was Bird doing another one for?
I think it might have been even before. I think it might have been before.
Well, even worse.
I need to pull that one up. How about this one? Did you ever see the Dominique on Robert Parrish dunk?
That was almost made my 10, but it didn't.
That was really close.
That's the one I was telling you about when you were like, he doesn't have enough poster dunks. I'm like, you have to see the one he does on Parrish.
He does. I need to put him in my 10 posterizers. Yeah. He did when I started going through here. You know what was funny? The way I searched it, I went on YouTube and I would type in Dominique. Here's how you know somebody is filthy, right? You type in Dominique dunk on, and then if you push the space bar, there's like 16 people come up, right? That's how you know, all right, I'm in the right place. Let's just go one at a time.
Right.
Jordan on Mutombo, primarily because of the finger wag. Not the most special dunk. It was from way out there, and he got Mutombo. It's just that he had waited so long to get him. He finally got him, and he's the first one that I ever remember doing the finger wag back at Mutombo.
Correct.
And I remember watching that live, and I was like, that is my hero.
It was the year after Mutombo had said at the All-Star game, "You've never dunked on me."
That's right. In the locker room, right? They were talking about it in the locker room. Yeah. Jason Tatum on LeBron James.
Yeah, that was nasty. That was really
well. You got big names. You've got passing the torch. People want to say Tatum's next. You got
looked at him too, bumped him. Yeah.
In bumped him, and LeBron did not react the way that I would have expected him to react.
Right.
I would have expected
reacted the exact way I expected him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he did not react the way that I wanted him to react. Let's put it that way. Yes. Yeah. I wanted him to react, swear that would be the last dunk Tatum ever completed in his life because his legs were broken. He did not react that way. How would Jordan have reacted if somebody had done that to him? First of all, would anybody have ever done that to him?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. And there would have been worst case scenario. Jordan would have on the next possession dunked on the same individual. Worst
yes.
Case. Yeah. So.
DeMar DeRozan again on Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, that's a good one, and he hook dunks it in too. If you remember,
he does.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a little extra on that one.
Yeah.
And as big a name as you can get in ultramodern, NBA, right? Wade on Varejao did not make my top 10. I'm sorry it didn't. I know. I'm just telling you, you're going to see.
Have you watched it in the last 10 years?
I just watched it 3 times because I was like, he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. He didn't. You know what? But Wade made my top 10. But it wasn't that one.
Oh, my God.
I'm just telling you.
But it covers every criteria you just talked about. It checks every box. All right, move on.
Well, he's got another one that's even better. And he made the top 10 with that one. Dr. J, not on Cooper, which is what everybody's going to remember because there wasn't contact. Right. And Cooper definitely changed his mind. Yeah. Doc over Eaton. Did you ever see that?
I did. That was good. And the Doc Walton one did not make my top 10.
Doc Walton, you haven't heard me. It didn't make my top 10 or my honorable mention. It didn't. I watched it again. It didn't make it. But Doc over Eaton, I want you to go find that one. It's real grainy and it's real old. And I didn't realize Doc could jump by the time Mark Eaton was playing.
Yeah, right.
Apparently he could because this was off 2 feet. And he just kept going up. It was 2 feet and only one dribble, Jonathan. You need to go see it. We'll try to pull that one up. And then Russell Westbrook on Gobert. Gobert, again, a victim.
Yeah, and we talked about this when we were talking about dunkers, that Westbrook really doesn't have a lot of poster dunks because he was too quick to the rim.
He beat people there. By the time people realized this guy's going to try to dunk on me, they hadn't jumped yet.
Same deal as Derrick Rose,
Yep. Good call. Good call on that. Okay, that's my honorable mention. Okay. Is there any of them that you want to name that are honorable mention that I didn't name? Because I named 32. So this just lets you know the depth that we're talking about, right? We could do a 64 March Madness bracket with that's how many dunks there are out there. Go ahead. What you got?
So there's one Barkley on Mutombo in a All-Star game where Barkley dunks it with his left hand. Only left hand, and Mutombo crumbles to the ground. Barkley takes it out of the net and throws the ball at him on the ground.
Damn.
And it is. I think you ought to pull it up. Can you pull it up real quick?
Yeah, you talk. I'm going to look for it. You talk. I'm going to look for
it. That. I had another one, Robert Pack on Thurl Bailey, where he goes. It's really strange. He goes up and then gets hit and goes up again, and it is a crazy.
Is it?
Yeah, watch this. This is really embarrassing. And he tosses it to him.
They cut it short. Why'd they cut it short?
Yeah, but if you hear the rim in the game, it's like a shotgun goes off. I have KJ on Hot Rod Williams. I don't know if you remember that one where he straddled him. He dunked it with one hand and he straddled him on the back.
And then he got pissed off and he was like, "Hey man, I'm just trying to help you down." And KJ got pissed off, right?
And then I had LeBron on Damon Jones. I did not put him in my top 10, but it was pretty nasty because if you look at the whole thing, after Damon Jones gets up, because he does fall,
he laughs.
He's doing this to his face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really bad. Then
and LeBron's literally laughing at him.
Yeah. I had Shaq on Kelvin Cato, which was super violent whenever Cato played with the Blazers. There was a trail down the middle, and it was nasty. But those were the only ones that aren't in my top 10. Oh, I'm sorry. Kobe over Okafor. I didn't have in my top 10. It was an honorable mention.
Emeka Okafor.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Jaleel. Yeah, Emeka Okafor. No, I saw that one. That one probably could have snuck in here too.
Yeah. So those are the ones that I had.
But people look what we're trying to explain. People are going to be like, "What about Kobe's dunk over Dwight Howard? He didn't jump."
I know he ducked. Right, he dunked.
He just didn't jump, man. Yeah. You know, Kobe had that badass around the back dunk where he went. I mean, just there's not
Tripucka. The one with Jordan on Tripucka is a prime example. Like Tripucka is not a shot blocker, first of all, and then he in midair dunked. It was super embarrassing and super violent, and the move before.
Well, the inside out on Rex was absurd. Yeah, of course.
But, okay, well, I'm super. You didn't put. Oh, if you Wade and Varejao is not on.
Well, we'll see. We're gonna look together.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
Look, and here's one of those deals where, like, I change my list more than anybody, right? I mean, I'm always subject to change. If you could convince me I got something wrong, I'm always subject to change. And like I said, this was freaking miserable. Like, I literally spent like probably 2 hours trying to narrow it down, and still I wasn't satisfied. So before we go, most common victims. Ibaka.
Okay.
Pau Gasol.
Yep.
Aaron Baines.
I didn't have him on my list. Okay.
He got hammered numerous times. Always late.
Yep.
Patrick Ewing.
Yes.
Gobert. Alonzo Mourning. Kendrick Perkins.
Okay. You have Mutombo's on the list, first of all.
Yeah, I can put Mutombo on this list for 2. Yeah.
Okay, David Robinson has to be on the list.
Just because of those two?
Sean Bradley has to be on the list. He got dunked
really?
A lot. I went and looked it up. I couldn't believe it. I know McGrady. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's got ones. He has one with Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose dunks on him. It is nasty. Yeah.
So the one so I didn't include the T-Max sucking the air out of the building because, again, Sean Bradley didn't jump on that one.
He didn't jump. Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Manute Bol got dunked on a lot.
Bol. I'm adding Bol to our victims list.
Yeah. Through more than anything. So those are my lists. But no, I like the other ones. Gasol, he was probably the most violent victim of all.
Well, there's my top 10, and I'll as always, I've got the high tech deal where I've got it blacked out. So let's start with your number 10. Let's start with your number 10.
And you're going to have to pull this up because it's not going to be on your list, but it's easy to pull up. Okay. And I partially did this because.
Tell me who it is so I can pull it up while you're talking.
Okay, Stromile Swift on Tyrus Thomas. Ironically,
are Tiger on Tiger violence?
Yes, LSU on LSU, and there's no foul. There should have been a foul. But as you're going to see here, Tyrus jumps late, and that's it right there.
Okay.
And as he jumps, you really kind of need the volume on this, which I know you.
I got it. You ready?
Let's just watch it.
Stromile Swift made your top 10.
Watch this. Tyrus jumps really late. And if they'll show it from underneath, is
Tyrus doing?
They'll show it probably late. I mean, you won't be able to find it out, but if they'll show it from underneath, it is like, why is he jumping that late? What are you doing? Stop doing that.
I loved his little symbol that he used to do after his dunks. They were so good. It was so cool. It was like,
what the hell? I wish you heard the announcers, though. You needed to hear the announcers' reaction.
Oh, my God.
That's for me as well, So, and look, I put this on the list just because I wanted something a little different. I wanted another guy that's not, and plus the LSU thing was cool to me. I thought that
is cool, dude. LSU on LSU crime is awesome. Is awesome. All right, you ready for my number 10?
Yep.
I know, dude. I know you're gonna have it, but he's little. He's a little guy, so I don't have him up there.
I know, but it's arguably
I got it. Let's just roll the footage. Can we just roll the footage
that we've ever had?
Let's just roll the footage.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
I mean, he almost killed him, dude. And then he lays there. And then
the game stops.
But everybody's worried. Like they're scared for what just happened.
People were literally worried.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan, to be clear, this was in the era when Blake Griffin was doing this every night, and then another dude and that's why it's called Lob City and not just Lob Griffin.
Yeah. The only reason this wasn't number 1 on my list is because Brandon Knight's small. That's the only reason. Because this is the most violent near-death experience for a dunk on that I've ever seen.
I have a feeling you're going to be more about the violence, and I'm going to be more about how
Oh,
important it was who dunked what on who.
For
and
sure.
post dunk reaction. Now, look, post dunk reaction on that is epic, right? That's as epic as it gets. So he does check a lot of boxes. Brandon Knight's a little guy, and he was just exposed in the air. I get it. I know that, but he ran into a 270-pound dude, and he was exposed in the air. It wasn't like he was like arms up trying to block it. He just jumped, and he was like, oh, shit, gravity, hurry up. Let me get down as quick as I can. He couldn't get down quick enough. So, that is bad.
Like, why did he do that? Oh, God.
It was him.
Okay.
It's number 10.
Okay.
It's number 10 for me, Jonathan. Go ahead. Just tell me, where is it on your list?
I'm pumped to see where these other ones, because, man, some of the ones in your honorable mention are actually on my list. Where was it on my list? It was number 2. Like I told you, there's only reason it wasn't number 1 because Brandon Knight's small. Because I took into account that he almost died. Yeah, Brandon Knight.
I get it. And by the way, his career did go downhill from that moment.
No, it was over. And then
he was a good player too.
The reaction of everybody was just classic.
All right, give me your number 9.
I had Shaq on Robinson in the All-Star game.
Okay, we got to pull it up.
Yeah,
we got to pull that up. If it's on your list, I got to pull it up. We're not going to have very much overlap. And the problem with this is we're going to have
some of these again were in your honorable mention, but this is big on big. This is All-Star game. They didn't like each other. Well, Shaq didn't like him, even though he made up the reason why he didn't like him.
Hey, it's just a friendly All-Star game.
Yeah, until that happens. Now, and again, for the viewers, if you go pull it up on your own and you listen to Grant Hill's initial noise right after the dunk happens. It's like, ooh.
I heard him. Yeah, I heard him. Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, and we've talked about how Shaq made up all this stuff about David Robinson just to motivate himself.
And Shaq's dunk on Dudley it didn't make it on my list because I didn't feel like Chris Dudley jumped high enough or got off the ground completely. It was as embarrassing as you can possibly get, but I didn't feel like he actually left the ground enough to make.
We're not going to see eye to eye on that. We're not going to see it.
Hey,
we're not going to see eye to eye on that. That's okay.
Yeah.
I got Dwayne Wade on Kendrick Perkins over the Dwayne Wade on Varejao.
I don't remember.
And let's just watch it. The things you'll want to remember: the basketball move before it, the basketball move before it. The ultimate villain who ruined the Oklahoma City Thunder is the victim. Yeah. The reaction after was incredible, and it was a 2-hand dunk by a guy that was 6'5".
Yeah, and he floats
with a lot of contact
around too. Yeah, it's crazy.
Let's just watch it.
Yeah, that is that. Did he? Yeah.
Yeah.
And our disdain for Kendrick Perkins adds to this. I mean, so.
Yeah. That's a big time dunk. Let's watch this replay real quick.
Great move this was. Good night. I mean, seriously. He avoids one shot blocker to dunk on an even more disliked shot blocker. Although
I'm telling you, Jonathan, Ibaka is often the victim or somewhere near it. He's got uncanny bad luck where Ibaka is all the time around these things. I've noticed that a lot.
Those dudes think they can block everything. That's the issue.
He did block a lot of shots. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right, number 8 on your list. Wait, did you do 9? Yeah, you did 9.
Yeah, I did 9. So
Shaq on Robinson.
Yeah, so number 8 on my list was D Rose on Dragic.
Okay. Everybody should be familiar with that. We might have to watch a commercial, unfortunately.
Stacey King's reaction as an announcer is classic.
Stacey King.
Yeah.
Absolutely classic. We got to sit through an Apple commercial. This is how unprofessional I am. Of course, we could edit this out, but it's not real. It's not organic, right? We want to watch this. It's stupid ass Apple.
Then we would know the list. You would know my list if we did that.
That's right. That's why I didn't, Here you go. Everybody's familiar with this.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there had been a little more contact, but at the same time, it's the reaction of the Phoenix fans too is pretty classic.
Rose has got this look on his face like he just smelled a skunk.
Like, why would you do that? Yeah,
it's like no one's ever done that. Everybody just knows.
Yeah, but I mean, and oh my goodness. Yeah, it was a swish dunk too. That was the wild.
Yeah, and look how far he goes horizontally. He lands out of bounds, almost completely out of bounds.
I know.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So
okay.
That was number 8.
Fair enough. Number 8. My number 8 is
Moment of truth. Drum roll. Paul George on Birdman. Did you forget about this?
I forgot about that one.
I thought you might have because
I did.
you know who he shook and blew by to get this dunk.
Yeah.
This is legit here. I'm gonna put the volume on for you on this one. You ready?
Yeah, this is a big moment too.
It's a big moment into the quarter. Heater up 1-0.
Yeah, that is sick. I forgot about that.
And Birdman's complaining not to Paul George, who just yammed on him, to the help side teammate who didn't come over at all. Watch.
Yeah, I mean, he gets
good defense, LeBron.
Yeah, by the way.
Now watch Birdman. He gets pissed. I think it's at Battier. Yeah, it's Battier. Watch Birdman. He gets pissed off.
Doesn't this seem like it was 35 years ago?
What's that?
Doesn't it seem like it was 35 years ago that Paul George?
It does, man. And look, LeBron giving him dap after that. That was sort of the Paul George, coming out party. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That was my number 8. That was my number 8. Who's your number 8, Jonathan? You already 7. Did it. Who's your number 7?
7 is LeBron on Jason Terry. And it's the second closest thing to a near death that we had.
You're all about violence and injury.
I told you, 100%. Violence and embarrassment were far and away the most important things to me when I take it into account. I mean, and then the stare down. See, that's the LeBron I wanted to see more of, throughout his career. Just
getting a technical only adds to it, right?
Which is ridiculous that they teed him up, but still, it's great all at the same time. I mean, first of all, it's like the Globetrotters playing. And then
what the hell was Jason Terry doing?
Like, seriously, what did you think was going to happen here? You jumped to do what, by the way? Anyhow, so that was my number 7. Yeah.
That's a good 7. I don't have it in my top 10.
I know, I get it. But you probably went with all bigs as being victims.
No. Well,
okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's look together. What's my number 7? DeRozan on Boucher.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This was the DeRozan. It was. I couldn't believe that I had 4. I think I had 3 or 4 DeRozan like all together in my stuff. I never would have guessed that before I started doing the research on it. But this is the dunk I'm talking about. DeRozan on Boucher. It's in a blowout game. This was on his former team, which mattered to me.
Yep.
So here he is on the Spurs, right? The forgotten years. How about this? I'm going to hug you and bring you down with me.
Yeah, that was Beth. That was a really good one. Yeah, that's
Drew Eubanks. I think I can't do that.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Nobody, everybody's all right. Oh my goodness! And then the violence of the ball going through the net. Yeah, that's good.
That's a big one.
I like that one. That's good.
You like that one? Yeah. A little off the radar. Most people would not have probably put that in their top 10, but just the timing of it, the fact they were getting their ass whipped, and it was against his former team. He was probably livid at that point because he probably didn't like living in San Antonio. No offense to my friends in San Antonio, but DeRozan was those were the forgotten years where we thought DeRozan was done, man. And then obviously we've seen this crazy resurgence in Chicago. All right, number 6 on your list. Who you got?
Ooh, this one's gonna bother you.
Is it Isaiah Thomas? Is it Paul Pierce?
No.
Is it Antoine Walker?
No.
Well, that's not going to bother me.
Okay. Scottie Pippen on Patrick Ewing.
It is going to bother me.
Okay. And I will explain there are 2 reasons why I have it this low. Okay. Because I'm sure you have him higher than that.
Yes.
The first one is I can't stand Scottie Pippen after everything that's come out about him.
Well, now we know. Well, that's why. Okay, well, that's fine.
The second reason why it wouldn't have been probably still as high as the way where you're going to have it, my guess, is it's not this rim rattling dunk. Like he embarrasses Ewing terribly. Okay, and Ewing jumps, but those are my 2 reasons. Anyhow,
okay, that's not enough reasons for this not to be ranked higher.
Oh well,
here's a lot of reasons why it should be. Number 1, they hated each other. They freaking hated each other. These people tried to steal rings from Jordan by just bullying him and doing the same shit that the Pistons did. So that factored in for me. I can't remember if it was a playoff game or not. Do you remember? You're better at this than me.
It was playoffs. Yeah.
Okay. It was a playoff game. The fact that Spike Lee was involved adds to it. And then the fact that Pippen
the way he worked the room after he did it was absolutely epic.
I just can't stand him.
I know, but it made you, if you just watched this video and that's all you ever knew about Scottie Pippen, you think he was the toughest MFer in the history of the world. We know he's not. But that's what you think, right? All right, let's play it.
Yeah, walking over him is absolutely classic.
Yeah. Somehow, Anthony Mason can't finish at the rim.
Yeah.
And then throws him down, literally throws a punch, puts his nuts on his face.
Yeah.
And then a brawl breaks out. And then he goes over to Spike Lee and says, sit your ass down.
And here's my deal.
Ewing, what can he say?
You've got people on the court that don't matter, right? Why don't they go fight Scottie Pippen?
That is the time to get thrown out of a game if you're an Anthony Mason or a fill in the blank Oakley or whoever the hell else was playing on that team, on those Knicks teams back then.
Yeah.
Hubert Davis. Look, I like that. Like, I like how he throws a punch at him, the wants to slap him in the face and walk over him.
Yeah.
And then Ewing knows it's disrespectful. Oakley can't do anything about it.
Yeah, the more I look at that, the more I realize I just don't like him. And so that's why that's it. That's it.
If you said, look, and then he's laughing about, they're laughing about it. They're taunting him, everything. I was so into that because I hated those Knicks teams so much. And then, of course, he got a technical too.
Who'd you hate more, the Pistons or the Knicks?
The Pistons.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Yeah, the Pistons were more of a threat.
Well, they took 2 rings away from our guy.
I'm just talking about just pure hatred of guys.
Yeah, dude, they were like the Knicks, only much worse. They were much dirtier.
Lane Beer was the difference, right? You couldn't dislike somebody more than Lane Beer, I don't think.
There's very few people with a more punchable face than Bill Laimbeer, like on earth. I can't. I'd have to. That's another video we could do. 10 most punchable faces in the world, but Laimbeer would be on my list.
Oh,
that was your number 6, right?
That's 6, yeah.
Okay. My number 6. Let's see. Anthony Edwards on Yuta Watanabe.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You didn't make your 10?
No, it didn't.
You want to watch it?
Yeah, dude. I always like watching Anthony Edwards dunk.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would say so far this is probably his signature poster dunk, right? So far.
It won't be the last.
It was over the rim. His head was over the rim. Right?
This was just what happens to the 2 human beings' bodies after the dunk is what really makes this special. So here we go.
Yeah.
If he had landed, I don't think it would have been as high on my list. The fact that they both just landed on their butt made it special.
If he would have landed on his feet standing over the guy, it would have been better.
You think so?
Yeah, but I'll tell you, it should have made my list. That should have made my list. I missed that one.
He said, put that on a poster. Well, there you go. Probably, that's like what the Tracy McGrady dunk could have been if Sean Bradley would have jumped, and it would have been in our top 10, but he didn't jump. And if Yao would have jumped a little bit more to the right on Kobe, it could have been there. Or if Dwight would have jumped, it was the same exact angle, same angle as Baron Davis on Kirilenko, same angle as Kevin Johnson on Olajuwon, same angle as MJ on Ewing.
But he jumped way higher than everybody except for maybe Jordan, but even him. But I try to forget so much of the COVID years whenever they didn't have anybody in the stands. I missed this one. That should have been on my list.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
I like
number 5. We're in our top 5 for each of our lists. What you got, number 5?
Yeah,
John?
so 5, purely out of disrespect for Scottie Pippen, I went MJ over Ewing for number 5 for me.
Okay.
And it is, for all the reasons which you said, they hated each other. The move to get out of this, the escape move to get out of this trap.
Part of it, right? The lead up to the dunk, how it happened, who they're playing, when they're playing.
Foul. Yeah.
Rainy film.
Yeah. Yep. He
of course they're double teaming him. Now they're triple teaming him.
See ya.
Doesn't matter.
And then Ewing jumps 2 hands and literally on top of his head. Yeah. And
what is Ewing's reaction? What is this?
He's calling for an offensive foul, I think, or what is he doing? Because
what is Ewing's reaction? Look,
I'm not sure. It's pretty violent though. He really dunks that ball hard too. Like really.
I think his reaction is, I give up.
Yeah, maybe so.
I give up.
That's what it should have been. But watch how hard he dunks this ball. Boom. Yeah.
Cliff Levingston sprints out of there. Look, he's on the other end of the court. He sprints out of there.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that, man. I will never forget that.
Yeah, that was
Okay, that was number 5 on your list. Good number 5 for sure. Number 5 on my list is Shaq Dudley. You did not have this in your top 10?
Show me the video again, because
with all the stuff that happens after this
round, I don't feel like Dudley got off the ground like into a true shot block. Because I mean, obviously,
I don't either. But who cares? He jumped.
But I thought we said you had to jump. That was the thing.
He jumped. Watch, he does jump. I did watch it because I was like, wow, he doesn't even come close to blocking this. Does he get off the floor? And I verified he does. He does jump.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna let this thing play.
I don't know. See, I didn't think he jumped, really. I mean,
then he throws at him and hits him.
Yeah. Bro, it's the most disrespectful dunk I think I've ever seen, more than Pippen's.
That is the most disrespectful dunk I have ever seen. That and Pippen's, those two.
Yeah.
As far as like after they dunked it and completed the dunk, they both tried to shove the defender or slap him with a right hook as hard as they could.
But he wrapped him up with both legs. That was, oh my God. I mean, it's just horrible. It's just a horrible experience for Chris Dudley.
Here it is. They're not showing the shove. This is the best.
Yeah.
I hate you, Shaq. I hate you. Look at this. Sheer force.
But watch him wrapping right
there.
That is not like, oh. Chris Dudley, 9 months later, did something happen? He may have had a child.
All right. That was number 5 on my list. What's number 5 on your list?
No, I had MJ Ewing. So
that's right. MJ Ewing. Yeah.
So number 4 on my list was Vince over Alonzo Mourning.
Okay. We're starting to have some overlap now, which we knew
we'd have a little bit of overlap. But the good news is it's mostly kind of towards the top here, you know?
The one thing about this dunk that that I think this is going to sound crazy, could have been better, is Vince jumps so high and he brings the ball back so far. Zoe didn't even really have a chance to challenge it. He just got crushed underneath the rim.
He was affected by gravity more than Vince Carter. I mean, that's really all it is Vince literally jumped in the air. This is not even Toronto Vince. This is the Nets Vince. And he just plays the waiting game. He literally just plays the waiting game. He's like, well, he's going to come down at some point. I'm not.
Like with Stromile on Tyrus earlier, right? That's like on top of his human existence.
I did miss that. That definitely deserved honorable mention at the very least, because I did not realize how hard Stromile dunked that ball. And the fact that it was Tyrus just makes it, those two guys.
Right.
All right, let's see.
Let this run. Yeah.
Here we go.
Right hand to right hand behind the back. Yep. Oh my gosh. No foul, by the way.
No foul.
No foul. Angry Vince.
He just, it looks like he's got a wiffle ball in his hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. It is ridiculous. Yeah.
I tell you what, I would have expected a lot more post-dunk reaction than that. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like Zoe had something in his contract where however many times he got dunked on, he got some type of incentive.
He had an incentive to jump wrong or against the wrong dude or too late.
Behind the backboard when he took off and jumped against Vince Carter. What are you doing, dude?
Yeah. Vince Carter's nice little wraparound before that was pretty cool lead up to it as well.
Yeah.
That was a big time dunk. I got Blake on Kendrick Perkins at number 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to have some overlap.
Yeah. This was the Blake. You know what? I don't have we forgot to mention this, and I'll spoil it, but I don't have a single duplication of one player on my top 10. It's 10 different players dunking the ball.
I didn't look to see if there is a duplication of the victim, though, believe it or not, but not of the dunker themselves. And I had to choose, one of the Blake Griffin dunks, and I really could have put the Gasol, not the alley-oop one, but the other Gasol. And I looked at Mozgov. Mozgov didn't jump.
No, he didn't jump.
So the Mozgov jump is very famous. That doesn't count. And the Gallinari dunk was super famous, but that doesn't count because he didn't jump. He wasn't even facing him. So this is the Blake Griffin dunk that I chose. No dribbles.
Yeah, it's so violent. And Like
That was right in the height of the craziness too, where he was just doing something different every single night, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. And you're Kendrick Perkins, and no, that would have been before. I think that was before the Dwayne Wade dunk. Because I was going to go, if Dwayne Wade got you, what are you doing jumping with this dude?
Look,
Yeah, man, it's really
right. There's your poster, right? We talk about posters. There's your poster right there.
really
Of
violent.
course, we could have backed it up a little bit and put it even better.
And I guess too, if you're Kendrick Perkins and
Where's his head?
well, that's what I'm saying. If that's as high as you can jump, why are you doing that?
Yeah, you're supposed to be this great positional defender. Then why weren't you off to the help, right? The ball was on the right side of the court. Why weren't you off and help side with 1 foot outside the paint over there? It would have saved you from being put on that poster.
Or like Rick Mahorn, why didn't you knock him into the freaking bench? You know,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Blake on Perk. That's my number 4, and I can't stand Perkins, and he was dunked on by Wade and dunked on by Blake in my top 10. So twice for Kendrick Perkins. Number 3, who you got?
That was Wade Varejao. That was my Wade Varejao.
That's right. That's right. Did we pull it up?
You didn't show it, and
Let's show it. Let's show it.
Yeah, man, it's
Man, look, I'm with you. It was in my high honorable mention, and it's the first one that comes up when you type in Wade's name. It comes up Wade dunk on Varejao. It's the first thing that comes up on YouTube, so we know it's the real deal.
little on big. It's after a LeBron blocked dunk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, at the other end. And yeah, I know. There's a story behind it. Yeah, you told me.
He dunks it and he's screaming, "That's how you do it." You know, like, I mean, this checks every
Here it is. There's the block, right? Jermaine O'Neal. J.O. gets it.
And then this kicks him in the chest. Boom. I mean, he crumbled and flipped
Steps
up
over him.
Yeah. That's how you do it. How is that not in your 10?
It probably should be in my top 10.
Okay.
Let's watch it again. First of all, Jermaine O'Neal gets this with his left. That's a good block right there.
Good
Damn.
block.
You know, he looks him off, Jonathan. I think he's looking Varejao off. It doesn't go in clean.
I know he lost the ball. That's the only
big part of it.
It might not make it
But-
number 1.
But he comes across.
So
He comes across his body. Whereas most of them, they're coming in like a baseball throw. But that one, he came across his body.
what a great
Watch it
moment.
one more time.
That whole sequence was great,
Yeah, it was.
And the announcers and the place went crazy, as you can see.
Yeah.
Varejao would have completed a backflip, by the way, had the support not been there.
That's right. Luckily, the stanchion was there. All right, my number 3. I think we've already talked about it. Vince on Zoe. Yep, we looked at it.
All right.
Gravity affected Zoe, and it did not affect Vince. Your number 2.
That was DeAndre over Brandon Knight.
My number 2, we've already talked about it as well. This is the ending is going to be anticlimactic. My number 2 is Jordan on Ewing.
And then you did it, didn't you?
Everything around it is my 1 and 2.
Everything that it stands for, everything that it meant to people in the 90s. Please support me in the comments if you're watching this video and put something in there and tell people that I'm right about this, that some dumb dunk on Jason Terry is not as important or DeAndre Jordan on Brandon Knight. It's like big on little violence, man. It's like mugging a little old lady at the grocery store. Jordan went big game hunting. Pippen went big game hunting.
No, I'm not worried about the Jordan one. I'm worried about what you have at number 1.
You know what I have number 1.
That's all I care about is that what you have at 1.
It
Posters.
was better. It was better. It was more violent. It was more disrespectful. It was better, man. He talked shit to Spike Lee. He walked it off. He laughed at him after he did it. It's the most disrespectful dunk, all things considered, that I've ever seen in the NBA.
Disrespected more out of you as a Jordan disciple. I really did.
Second. I've got him second.
I just and I've already told you, like, if you removed it all, you're right, dude. It's there. It probably would have been, honestly, probably 3rd on my list.
We're gonna do it again. I'm gonna make you watch it again because you're gonna come around. Oakley can't finish at all.
I'm not.
How about a head fake?
Yeah, I'm not. Because Scottie Pippen.
There's people on the court, for God's sakes. What is this, an and one tournament? When did they let people kneel on the freaking sidelines, Jonathan?
That's true. Chicago Stadium was a dumpster fire, apparently, though. Because that was Chicago Stadium, not the United Center. All right, we can move on because we've already seen that one enough times. but I have my number one. I still have my number one.
I thought your one. You said DeAndre Jordan. Oh, that was number 2 for you.
Yeah.
Okay, your number 1 is not in my top 10.
It is in your top 10, but I'm combining 2 because I feel like they're the same dunks. And I know I told you I was going to cheat a little bit here. I think you have to lump Blake's dunk over Perkins and Gasol together. So show the one over Gasol because you've already seen the.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you about any Blake Griffin shit because I'm telling you, we agreed he was the greatest posterizer of all time, the greatest dunker of all time.
Which I felt like
you got him also number 1.
Okay. For him. The Gasol one is more violent, and you'll see why. Like the
not the putback. You're talking about the
correct.
See, I watched them both, and I thought that the perk was bigger.
Yeah, it was a different angle though. Watch the end of it though. Oh, this is the putback. They'll show the next one. They'll show it after this.
Yeah,
that's sick. First of all, but here they'll show it. I think they show it next. Here you go. Okay. Now the way he crumbles at the end, and if you watch it, they'll show him pull his head. If they show it from the baseline side, here you go.
He elbows him in the face, Jonathan.
Watch. He pulls his head to him. Look, come here.
He sucks him up like Scorpion on Mortal Kombat, and then he stares at him.
Yeah.
And then Gasol is complaining because he wants a technical because he got elbowed in the face, which he did.
Correct.
So your greatest dunk of all time, and by the way, he does the same thing to Perkins, so I don't want to hear anything. Look at that picture.
He does.
So just to be clear, the greatest dunk that
ever occurred could have been called an offensive foul and not have counted.
Violence?
Isn't that crazy?
Violence.
Isn't that crazy?
I told you. Yeah.
Yeah, we got your violence.
Well, there it is. Take a screenshot. That's my top 10. Your top 10 was actually a little bit closer than we thought. There was a couple of omissions that I agreed that that should have been at least in the honorable mention that you had, and then there was a couple that I think you changed your mind on. That Paul George on Birdman was somewhere in the mix. I did want to try to find that Dominique dunk on Larry Bird that we were talking about.
Oh, yeah, you need to show the one on Parrish too.
Okay.
I readily admit that Anthony Edwards dunk needs to be on the list. It needed to be on my list for sure.
I can't, man, where was it? That's the same one. I keep seeing the same one. It's the same one where he's sitting on the ground. How did I miss it? Okay, let's find the one on Parrish. We got to give Dominique some love because he was doing it kind of before everybody else with Jordan.
Yeah.
Not dunking over.
It's on, like, if you go to his top 10 dunks, I think it's like number 2 or 3, something like that. That's it. That was it.
No, that's a Robert Parrish buzzer beater.
The one was it?
Yeah, that's not it. We don't want to see Robert Parrish dunking.
Okay. Anyhow.
He had a poster dunk over David Robinson? Oh, now we're just rambling.
Yeah.
Now we're just rambling. All right, we can't do this.
He had a poster dunk for everybody, I think.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. Go check them out. If you're too young to remember some of those old dunks from the 90s, there were some great ones. Go check it out. I do think that we've got a lot of great dunks coming up in the NBA because there's so many preposterously illegal athletes going now. There's just so many guys that can do stuff like that. We were talking about this because, we had – when we were in the 90s, we would have these fond memories of these great dunks from like the early 80s and even some from the 70s. The Dr. J on Walton. David Thompson had a couple. And then when I went back and watched them, I'm like, man, look, this is just a whole different game, man. It's like they're wearing space shoes or something. I mean, the way these guys are jumping now and the way they're dunking now, as big as they are, they're taller. First of all, you got guards that are as big as bigs back then. So it's just ripe for more violent, posterizing dunks.
I think also, and this would be really hard to do, if we did it like relative to era, then like Dr. J over Walton, it makes the list. Right?
Yeah, of course it does.
It was unheard of then, right? David Thompson would have made the list somewhere probably.
Yeah.
But, no, you're right. I mean, it's like child's play, the stuff that they did back then.
I mean, Russell Westbrook's got 75 dunks better than David Thompson's best dunk ever.
Ever.
Sure. And I know it sounds like I guess
it's true.
Thoughtless and like, uncaring or like I don't have an appreciation of history. I'm just telling the truth. I mean, it's just different. It's like saying Barry Bonds is probably going to hit the ball further than Babe Ruth. I believe that, right? I mean,
it's like somebody said, Elgin Baylor was the first high flyer, right?
Right.
Well, Elgin Baylor would be considered a non-athlete compared to somebody his size today, like I don't know,
Anthony Edwards.
6'5", 6'6". Anthony Edwards, exactly. Perfect.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. And look, it's the same for all sports. Jim Brown was a great running back.
Right.
I have a feeling Bo Jackson probably would have broke every record in the history of mankind if he was running the ball back in the 60s. That's just my opinion.
Or if he didn't play baseball.
Or if he didn't play baseball and he played in the 90s. Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's another great video we're going to do is the what might have been. We are definitely going to get to that at some point. Right now, we've been sticking strictly to basketball, but we can cross sports a little bit. We can cross sports a little bit and still stay genuine and still know what we're talking about.
Are we going next time? Are we going to go with the comps that we mentioned? Is that what we're doing?
I think we're going to go with the comps. And just to let the viewers know a little bit of what we talked about, we've talked about finding two players in history that are very similarly ranked and very difficult to distinguish between. And I'm thinking these are just some names off the top of our head, like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan.
Yeah. Let me cut you off real quick. The Kobe Tim Duncan one is a great one, but I didn't know if you wanted to go position, though.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't matter.
We can look at it and go, who do you want on your team first? Who would you pick on your team first, right? Based on resume and everything they accomplished and whatever.
Just what did they not who would you want on your team? That's different because I would want Tim Duncan on my team, but that's not even if he was slightly worse. But that's a deal where and like we talked about, we flip a coin and have to choose, and we make the argument for the other player, and it's point counterpoint, and it's almost like two attorneys in a trial, and the people watching the videos are the viewers, and you guys can comment below and let us know what you think and who made the most persuasive argument. And I'm sure there's no way, we could, check off all the boxes of why Kobe's better than Duncan or Duncan's better than Kobe. There's a million criteria to consider and a million different types of metrics and analytics and, statistics that we can fall back on. And again, a lot of these historical rankings of players, we talk about it all the time. You have to measure them in their era because certain statistics meant something different then than they do now. Points, blocks, steals. Those are not, it's not exactly correlative.
Right.
And, so that's something to take into account. And then the most important thing is how much weight do you attribute to rings, to all-star teams, to all NBA teams, to, defensive player of the year awards, to MVP voting, things like that. Bill Simmons wrote, the greatest basketball book I've ever read, obviously the book of basketball, and it just depends on how much weight that you attribute to rings and winning, versus individual statistical accomplishment.
Yeah.
And that's an argument in and of itself,
It is. But I'm excited to do it because I think even though both of us agree that Jordan is the greatest player ever, I still think you could have some fun with a couple guys and comparing them, not necessarily even at the same position, but just overall. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That'll be fun.
Well, I've got bad news for you. You don't dwell as much on social media as I do. There's a very, very large faction of people out there. Most of them are younger than us who think that LeBron has caught Jordan.
It's unfortunate too.
Well, I'm just telling you, it's out there. That might be a video we do. I'll take the side of LeBron, and we can make the argument. I mean, I know people are going to probably see through that, but
it definitely is. And I have kids that I coached, right, who are like, "Oh, no way, this, that, the other," and they're on LeBron's side. And my question is always the same, the one that we ask, and it is, okay, that's fine, I get it. To win a game, to save the lives of your family, who do you start your team with?
Yeah.
And when they pause, I'm like, see. You also think Jordan is the greatest.
Yeah.
You just don't want to admit it, But nonetheless, yeah, I get it, man. Look, it's era based and it's social media based, and LeBron's cool and he's this and he's that, and he's, played on much more talented rosters than Jordan has, and still hadn't won as many rings and a less tough, just nonetheless.
Anything surprised you thus far in the NBA season in particular you want to talk about? Team-wise, when I think of surprises, I think of the Blazers, the Jazz, and the Spurs.
Yeah. I don't care.
That won't last.
It won't last, and that's the thing. I guess the thing that's the most surprising is that the Westbrook, LeBron, AD thing just hadn't worked like I thought it would this year. I mean, I feel
You
like
can't keep telling the same joke. You can't keep telling the same joke.
Also, the fact that Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons haven't meshed
Yeah.
exactly like I thought.
Yeah, man.
It's disappointing, man, because you look at those guys and I mean, here's my main issue with the NBA season already. The guys who are always hurt are still hurt, or they're taking off, or they're
Jonathan, AD had a humongous game last night. We're filming this on Halloween, so Sunday night, AD had a huge game.
That big.
No, it was big. It was big. He's grabbing it. He's had a great first 5 games. He was grabbing his back. I would not be surprised if we got news today. Of course, y'all aren't going to see this for 8 days, right? You're going to see this the next Tuesday. But I would not be surprised on November 1st if we got some kind of news that AD was day-to-day or having back spasms, or, they sat him to manage his sore back or something weird like that. He kept grabbing his back. He had a real bad collision at one point in that game and started grabbing his back. And then after that, he kept grabbing it worse and worse. He ended up playing 36 minutes. He's put up some really good numbers this far, Jonathan.
I know, but, look, then you look at Zion and he lands on his butt. I got it. But then the next game he's sitting out, but he's up on the sidelines goofing off with his teammates and,
that's what I don't understand. Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Jumping around. I mean, I know it's different than playing an NBA game, but I mean, come on now.
I don't know. It's by the Kawhi's already sitting out, but there's no setback apparently. They're just being cautious. Dude, what? At some point, don't you just want to play? I mean,
yeah, I know. Yeah. So
it's good. Anyway. What it's going to do, real quick, is it's going to. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for. I guess it's going to make the length of these guys' careers a lot less impressive. Is what it's going to do.
It is
seasons, but you really played 12.
Yeah, and when you look at total game, I mean, you can't put up aggregate statistics and climb historical rankings if you're not playing in games. You can play 40 seasons, but if you're playing 40 games a year, that's 20 seasons. So you're not going to climb the ranks in these aggregate historical rankings, I don't think. If you had to pick, let's go real quick, MVP after 6 games, best individual.
Giannis, not even close.
Giannis not close? Throw out the team. Throw out the
second.
team, just statistically.
Giannis.
Okay.
Have you seen
I would throw, huh?
Have you seen what he's done?
I know. I would throw Durant. I mean, I would throw Doncic and Morant in the conversation. Giannis is right there. I'd say those 3.
He's shooting 61%, dude.
He's what?
Shooting 61%.
I get it. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's averaging 32 a game. Doncic's averaging 37 a game. I mean, there's other guys that you got to at least talk about.
Yeah. He defends people too.
That's the difference between him and every person else I just named. Tatum's also having a good start. Hey, by the way, Doncic's usage rate is over 40 after 6 games.
I think Luka Doncic, don't get me wrong, he's the greatest offensive player in the game, and he's probably already one of the – I want to make a statement.
Don't say it. Just don't say it yet. It's too early. Don't say it. You're going to regret it.
Not in the 10 greatest offensive players of all time.
Let's just chill right there. Let's relax. Let's let the sample size grow a little bit.
Oh no! All right.
But yes, peak Doncic that we're seeing right now. What we think is peak is very unique. It is something that
Is he better than peak James Harden?
Well, yeah, he's better than peak James Harden.
Go look. Look at.
He's doing it without shooting well. What if he shoots 39% from 3?
No, I agree. I think he's better. But I'm saying, like, when you talk about peak James Harden.
No, you're right, man.
I know.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Who's your rookie of the year so far?
Banchero, for sure.
Banchero, yeah. What about McMathern? And
I'll tell you what, McMathern and Nanan McMahon is he's impressive. He's really athletic.
I think it's a 2-horse race so far. Keegan Murray and Jaden Ivey are chasing those 2 guys right now. Mathurin, now I'm saying his name wrong because we're making a joke about it, but Ben Mathurin's putting up those numbers off the bench. I mean, he's putting up some serious numbers.
Won't be for long because the Pacers will tank, and then he'll start. And
I was about to say his numbers will probably go up. You say they'll tank, but I don't know, man. Stranger things have happened. Sometimes teams try to win games inexplicably when they shouldn't, but I don't know.
I think that trade's coming. I really do.
You do for the Westbrook? Westbrook had a good game last night.
He looked good. Yeah. But whatever.
It doesn't solve the problem. All right, that's it, man. We'll kill it here. We'll talk off camera and we'll figure out what our topic's going to be next week. It might be time to move on to doing that every other week, where we each take a side and we argue about a historical great and let the viewers weigh in on who they think is the better of the 2 players that we choose. We'll try to choose players that are pretty commensurate in their historical value and whatnot. and kind of go from there. There's a lot. I'm thinking just right now. There's like Barkley, Karl Malone. Dude, there's a lot.
Most of them will be positional, but sometimes.
Yeah. Positional would make it easier, probably. Much more difficult. Like Tiny Archibald, Ralph Sampson would not be fun to do.
Nor would I want to do that anyhow.
Nor would I. Give me Archibald. You take Ralph Sampson. Good luck, counselor. All right.
Cool, man. Thank you for joining. Guys, thanks for watching Cage of Cardboard and guest Jonathan Pixley on the Lucan Nation Network. Like I said, if you've watched an hour and 5 minutes, we must be saying something that's at least a little bit entertaining and frightening. Oh, it's perfect for Halloween. Your pinky is a perfect pinky for Halloween. That is the sign that the show is over. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button. If you've lasted 65 minutes with us, it's probably worth hitting the subscribe button so you can catch us every Tuesday. Thanks, guys.